Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
I made this thread to discuss with other people who have lucidity in their dreams, to discuss the concept of a dreamland, and share thoughts and ideas of the subject, possibly identifying a similar landmark, terrain, forest, or biomes. Personally speaking, I don't think every single dream we have is in this astral plane. I can agree our subconscious does play a part, and we have some mundane, typical dreams. At the same token, I have visited places and seen marvelous colors, structures, beings that I don't think are words to convey their grandiosity. I'll start it off by a place I believe I stumbled on by accident, that is a virtual world of sorts. That prompted me to create a login and go to an orientation. The eerie part about it is that their orientation was with other people that also claimed to be lucid dreamers, some even frequent flyers and come often. I literally stopped and conversed with them about other lucid dreams while in a lucid dream. Maybe I'm not the only one.
The Dreamlands, I have been there. It consists of different megadomes. Each has its own rules and habitats. Each of them is controlled by one of the powerful beings which no words can describe. From some of my friends and personal experience, I heard a myth of legend of sorts that talks about a garden that gave an origin to it all. Right in the middle, dreamers all around the world went to that garden to ask for wishes to a flower. But then this little girl came and ate a fruit from the flower. The flower disappeared, and the girl became one of the rulers of Dreamlands, the Princess of Dreams. That's how people knew her. I heard she tried to unite the Dreamlands, but she failed, and after some years she disappeared. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's real or it isn't, but I know each of the domes have different rules and even different beings. Every dream we have can be part of these domes, but dreams that are dreamed forever form these megadomes, and they exist for us all. That's what I know. Welcome to the Dreamlands.
Thank you for your insight. It's hard for me to put into words, but do you ever have dreams that you know are a part of a certain world or timeline of events? For example, within the dream you remember a past dream, even if the said dream you are recollecting happened months or even years ago?
Yes, that happens often. I had this friend, Olivia, who frequently had those kinds of dreams. Sometimes she dreamed about this weird temple in the Amazon, and in totally different dreams she remembered what happened in the temple, as if it had occurred in the same timeline of events. Eventually she continued dreaming, and dreams became clearer. That's how all about the domes and the different rules of the Dreamlands became clearer. So we have the theory everything occurs in the same timeline, but once you enter a dome, it's difficult to recall all your memories, since some of the worlds have thicker amounts of energy. The worlds with a thinner veil allow us to remember things that occurred before, even if it's just bits of information.
I have dreams like this, repeating cycles of events in the same location, and I can use the information I learned to do things differently, or new events happen. I have been aware of these cyclical, self-referential dream worlds since I was first able to recall my dreams. Strange that I can remember dreams from age 4, makes me think there's something more to it. Or maybe my subconscious mind just likes to revisit the best dream worlds it constructs, since those ones tend to have a lot of unique stories and lessons I can apply to my life, plus they are usually really fun and entertaining. Either way, if anyone ever visits a megalithic sandstone temple, say what's up. That's been my most recent location, with a lot of weird shit. On a tangential note, has anyone else seen locations in real life they saw in dreams? Saw a street/hill in a town that was from a cyclical dream I haven't had since I was 17, and recently a visit to a Forever 21 in a mall I'd never been to played out exactly like my dream, even down to the layout of the store. I was so creeped out I didn't follow the chain of events and left the store to call my mom rather than go get her. Turns out, she was in the exact part of the store I knew she would be from the dream.
The Nighthawk painting reminds me of a world I visit often. Red sandstone buildings, Victorian era reminiscent. Cobblestone streets and very warm yellow street lamps illuminating the promenade. December, January daylight. Dusk at 5 p.m. Azure blue sparkling sky, bright white stars. Horse carriages and light rail trolleys being one form of transport. I remember brass-like tubes and other strange machinery and tech, working in harmony with the buildings and people. Much of these brass tube structures were fixed to the buildings and other support railings. Felt like I was in a giant pinball machine. Incredibly pleasant dream and very vivid. Has anyone else seen this too?
I often go to the mall. You know the one. Always lucid. Sometimes it's in different time periods. Often it has some nightmare qualities. I always wake up feeling longing for it, like it was a great experience. Lately, my favorite thing is that I learned a few trips ago about the elevator game. You go to the top floor, but it's not actually a floor. Then you do something else. I can never remember this detail until I'm in the dream, and I often explain or discuss this with other mall-goers in it who surprisingly usually know the elevator game too. The special floors the game takes you to differ, but there are a few reoccurring ones, like an in-water gym, a hangout library with some kind of kitchenette, some kind of live-action RPG game, a sauna hot tub area with tons of rooms always very crowded until someone goes into the haunted stall and summons the demon ghost creature that kills everyone, etc. My favorite is just a tiny little apartment-type place with a fridge and little kitchen. There's some kind of challenge, and it often includes some dead or long unspoken to friend, ex-lover, or some such participating with you from my experience. All the food you eat that they make is the most amazing ever, but it rapidly becomes too messy to keep up with and they'll quickly be gone and everything rotten. That's still my favorite one though, for the great and nostalgic happiness it gives you after it. Honestly, I'm about to pass out soon. I hope I get to play the elevator game. It's honestly amazing. There's a couple other rooms I've been to that are kind of weird offices, mixed with a 90s concept of haute couture futuristic stage set. I really don't know how else to explain that. I always get the impression those areas are broken and old and need to be refurbished and aren't supposed to be accessed as part of the game. Not like it's bad to be there or anything, just like there's nothing more to it than that. Like a cardboard set, not complete yet. God, I love the elevator game.
I'm fascinated by the mall world phenomenon. I've totally been there in my dreams, and while people often emphasize the mall part, it's more like a blend of different indoor spaces, such as museums, university campuses, libraries, airports, etc. In my own experience, it's always full to the brim with people who are either busy going places or casually chatting. The overall experience is quite enjoyable and very nostalgic. It almost feels like being in a sort of limbo where time doesn't exist.
I have no clue what a dreamland is, but I was in a forest once. I found a medieval tower which I had the urge to reach the top. Taking the stairs, I found a window that caught my attention, a view of the outer side of the forest where I can see the trees blinding the vast meadow. It was dusk, so stars were kind of visible. Saturn and its moon Titan were huge. A whale emerged from the night sky. Truly a beautiful thing to witness. I commissioned an artist to paint a canvas of the dream. Pic related.
I used to have dream cities and places I would go to over and over. One of the cooler ones seemed to be built on water, like an ocean I assume, but was a very modern city looking. I just remember all these roads at various levels above this raging ocean, sort of grey and dark. There was a huge central building that sat not that far above the water level with giant glass windows against a wide exterior walkway where you could have probably pulled yourself directly out of the water onto the walkway. Big though, like 10 square blocks. There was another spot that was a cave on the side of a mountain, pretty nondescript. And if you went into it, steps had been cut in the stone. And as you climbed the step and passed through the cave, the interior was a giant stone city, very old, like what you would think of as Shambhala or something. Also, one somewhere where the gravity was much lower, a high-tech, futuristic city where you could literally jump a railing and drop 3 stories and be totally fine because of the gravity. There are some smaller places I would go to too, but I think those might be other things. Let's just say they were dream environments created by things that didn't really understand physicality in the first place.
Every night, multiple dreams every night. I keep a dream journal and perform a recall each time as well, even when getting up to use the bathroom during the middle of a dream cycle. You can get to a point where there is atemporal synchronicity between some things in your dream worlds and the waking world. For example, dream about a certain song or situation, Wake up, go about your day for 8 hours, and then hear that exact song or be in that exact situation randomly and notice it. Practice recall the literal moment you open your eyes, or you'll forget about 90% of it within a few minutes.
Not specifically referring to this dreamland, but yes, I experienced something like this. My entire life, I sometimes have incredibly vivid dreams, very real, more real than reality, legit. Now here's where it gets weird. It's me, but it's not always me. It's like I've switched places with an alternate me that has different habits, mannerisms, etc. It's not weird, nonsensical dreamscapes. It's reality. Cannot stress how real it is. It's like I'm zapping to alternate realities, and I'm just going about my business there. Living my life, doing things, often mundane things. It all seems to depend on the location, though. Some locations have different feelings. It's like you just know things. I guess you could call it a form of telepathy. For instance, there's no need to speak. We all just know and understand each other, like we can talk if we want to, but there's no need. Talking seems primitive. Everything is known and understood somehow. I cannot properly explain this. Some places seem non-significant. Don't get me wrong, it's nothing Earth-like, it's fantastical, and it's nothing I've ever seen before, but some places feel more than others. There's one place I call Vacation Planet, for lack of a better term. It has nothing to do with the conventional vacay you or I would think of. It's a place of peace, love, understanding. When you're there, you know there's no conflict. It's impossible. It's a beautiful slice of land where everyone coexists in leisure. Needless to say, this is my favorite place to visit. Once I finally realized it's the same place over and over, I began exploring. Everyone always sticks to the same spots. There are areas where people don't venture, not for dangerous reasons. People simply don't go there. Now, personally, I march to the beat of my own drum, so to speak. I'm not a follower, I'm not afraid of ridicule or not doing the accepted thing. The things I've found on my journeys are incredible. At first it was simple things. Cool swimming spots, fun things to do. Eventually I found animals, ships, all sorts of stuff. This leads me to something else. Because of my nature, I seem to find things others don't. I've found portals, for lack of a better term. It looks nothing like you would imagine. Def not how sci-fi portrays it, but basically I've found ways to hop between diff realms. It can be as simple as climbing a ladder or going down a hallway. There's at least 3 or 4 I know by heart and I use often. I always get the feeling I'm seeing things you shouldn't, but no real sense of danger. Like I said, it's often me, just going about my everyday life. It can be very real and mundane. Other than the weird landscapes and portals, nothing dreamlike happens. It's not a dream, like I have tasks and responsibilities. Eventually, one of my responsibilities was sort of like a portal tour guide. Sometimes I'm tasked with bringing other people from one side to the other. One side of what to the other of what, I've no idea. Why me? I have no clue. It often feels like these people are being smuggled across the boundaries or something. Like I'll suddenly end up in these places, realize I'm there, then realize I need to bring people from point A to point B. I seem to take this task quite seriously. Most of the time I'm successful. I've failed once so far. I always go for cloak and dagger, rather than guns blazing. We'll take our time and quietly move into position. When it's clear, we cross the portal. Because of how real it is to me, I don't feel comfortable revealing my portals. Then go to the next realm. The people I'm escorting are always amazed, but to me it's simple, like walking down a hallway. Again, I'm puzzled how I fit into all of this. One time we were caught. We were separated, and eventually I made it down a street with a parking ramp off to the side. I began to run down the parking ramp, but decided against it and went to hop the ramp wall. As I was climbing, a car pulled up, took 2 shots at me, and sped away. I was hit in the left side of my neck, tried to apply pressure, ran into an office building and bled out in the lobby, died on the floor. Believe it or not, none of this was scary, painful, or even uncomfortable at all. Instead of waking up, I went into another dream. Anyway, these places are always the same. Never change. Feel real. It's not weird, wispy, dreamlike. It's real. Like I have my favorite spots to eat, areas to chill. I've discovered new swimming spots with these cool whales. All sorts of stuff. It's always a very sad moment when I need to wake up and leave Vacation Planet, though. The other places are okay, like fantastic in itself, but not as remarkable as the Vacation Planet. But the people who see me out often say, "This is how it's done." Sometimes, though, I try to delay by slowly gathering my belongings. They're never tricked by that, though they allow me to dawdle along. In my childhood, this happened seldomly. About 3 years ago, it really ramped up until about last year was my last visit. Hope I can go back soon.
Wow, your stories sound amazing. Have you ever put effort into learning to lucid dream? Do you think it could help? I think it's really beautiful that you get this naturally. I hope it stays that way for you and that you get back to the vacation planet and find other cool places too.
Thanks. I've played with lucid dreaming a lot for a long time ago. I've been fully lucid only a handful of times. I'm prone to losing focus, but I'm not too keen on developing it yet. Explain later. Sure, I can recreate these landscapes, but it's not the same. Like that fake, waxy, cheap imitation Easter chocolate. Sure, it looks the same, but does not taste the same. In lucid dreaming, the dreamer is in control. You can make things happen, make people say things, mess with physics, dream, learn, etc. These rare dreams I'm describing do not follow that pattern. I'm in control of nothing but myself. Any special powers I do have, everyone has. This is why for the past while I've been leaning towards astral projection. It's been said that we all astral project, sometimes in our sleep. The thing is, we just don't remember it. This is what they say. In the past few years, as I learned more about astral projection, I've reluctantly come to the conclusion these dreams may be astral projection. Fits the description so far. I've toyed with the thought of trying it myself, but I feel I'm not ready. Something inside tells me this. I've always followed my intuition, and it's always rewarded me handsomely. When I don't follow my intuition, I always seem to regret it afterwards. Anyway, something tells me I'm not quite ready for what's next. Or that I've missed a crucial step somewhere. Maybe I'm being stubborn, who knows? For now, I'm gonna wait and see.
The war stories I remember. I think I've been to Sheol. You enter from a tunnel way above and can see the whole city down below. It has a strange orange glow to it, and when you walk the streets everyone hides, or they have already left. Also remember entering a tower and going down and down the tower with others. I remember a sort of witch that told me we were there to free the Moon Matrix and that the Mars Matrix had already been freed. I remember a modern war like the island war you're speaking about, but they broke through our headquarters. Some of us stole a plane and went to the mainland and were constantly on the run, but there was this idea of being outnumbered, but trying to free the minds of the youth. There are just too many places in the dreams, and the fact you sometimes enter a dream and then enter a place and unlock a memory. You suddenly remember you've dreamt of that place, even if it was years ago, and the fact that you can get information to then check out in this world means we should pay much more attention to the dreams. But as they said above, you also need to focus here. Dreams are sleeping time. Also, growing here and acquiring knowledge actually helps to increase your Dreamtime toolkit. I forget a shitload of what I dream, but maybe I should pay some more attention. Good thread dream anons. Also, when facing challenges in the dream world, take it as an opportunity to become much more adept and handle situations like that. They stop bothering that often because they realize that would just make you stronger.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check out the Odyssey page in the description for a second archive of the channel's videos.
There's also a Rumble archive as a backup.